Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's Saturday, December 3rd, 2016. The national news story today, a tragedy out of Oakland, California. It's being reported that late last night, Friday, December 2nd, a warehouse party was taking place when a fire began that quickly spread through the building, killing some of the partygoers. Since early this morning, they've been saying that 9 are dead, possibly as many as 40. What I'm going to show you in this video is the fire that began at this building last night was no accident. This building at this specific address on this specific date was set on fire on purpose as a ritual, which we are going to get to. And as we go through this, you might have the inclination to think that I'm crazy, that what I am reporting is nonsense, that this is all coincidence. I assure you, I am not crazy. What I am reporting is the truth. And if you take the time to listen and watch my how-to gematria video in the description, you will have a new set of knowledge that you can use for the rest of your life to see through mainstream media lies. What I am teaching on this channel is essentially a secret to the Freemasonic network that governs over us. This nation, the United States of America, it was established once upon a time by a gang of Freemasons who came over from Europe. The Freemasons pride themselves on being the keepers of knowledge, the invisible architects of society. They believe in divide and conquer, order out of chaos. They are ritualistic. They are pattern-oriented. They are the reason that history repeats itself. This fire that was set by this same gang, this same network, that is worldwide, that is all over our nation, this fire that was set, it is a tribute to the Golden State Warriors in their upcoming NBA season, and it is also a tribute to the Chicago fire, which was set October 8th, 1871, on purpose by this exact same gang. If you've never seen my work on the Chicago fire, just type Zachary K. Hubbard, Chicago fire. We're going to review some of that information. I 100% guarantee you this was done on purpose, and it is as I'm saying. A tribute to the upcoming NBA season, a ritual. It might even have something to do with the Raiders, which I'll touch on. So let's get into this. Again, if you're new here, you're going to want to know what gematria is, how it works. Down in the description, I have my how-to gematria video. Gematria is an ancient knowledge, important to Freemasonry, used in our media every single day. This is how news is made by the numbers. So this fire began late December 2nd, a date that can be written 12/2. Golden State in gematria sums to 122, plus Oakland's on the 122nd meridian. Last year on January 22nd, a date written 1/22, I put out a video before the Warriors played that day, and I said, watch them score 122 points tonight. It was Steve Kerr's first game back to coach the Warriors last year on January 22nd. The Warriors did score 122 points. All throughout history, news has been scripted by the numbers, and so have professional sports. All of this is under the Freemasonic umbrella. Again, if you're new to my channel, I have shown countless times how a news story projects who will be the champion of a professional or collegiate championship game. I called all 3 of the major sports championships correctly last year, mostly using information from the news, such as this. All the videos are on my channel. Take the time to study. Don't be lazy. My video channel is free for everyone to watch. You know, this might sound so arrogant. I don't think there's any degree or college education you can go out and pay money for. I mean, you can go out and pay money to get a job that will pay you a lot of information, but I don't think there's any degree you can go out there and pay for and get more meaningful information than what you will find in all the videos I've put out on this channel. I have put out the truth about the history of this nation, what's going on in this world, what we need to stop, the agenda that's upon us. You know, understand that this is bigger than basketball and the Chicago fire. Part of what the reason to understand what I'm showing is because this is going on every day. What happened to Oakland happens to cities all the time. And it's going to happen as long as these Freemasons, these Zionist Jews, these Jesuits are running the show as they are. We, the people of this world, need to wake up. The manpower of this world needs to realize there's more important things than watching sports games and fucking women and getting money. What's more important is waking the fuck up to the world you live in and taking it back from these assholes who govern over us as if they're the Wizard of Oz. Never seen my video on the Wizard of Oz in the United States of America? That's another one to check out. So again, December 2nd, Golden State 122, Oakland on the 122nd meridian. There's a million other things I could tell you, but let's stick to this fire. CNN, the first story they put out this morning that I caught, it began right at 7:58, filling us in on the details of the fire from last night. 7:58. There's a reason they went on TV at this specific time, as I've been exposing for 3 years. The mainstream media does everything by the numbers. They even start their news stories at the appropriate minute. Oakland equals 58, Freemasonry 58, Secret Society 58. Huey P. Newton equals 58, who founded the Black Panther Party. Cam Newton became the 58th quarterback to start in a Super Bowl this past year. If you missed my work on the Super Bowl, in October I said it would be the Broncos to win the Super Bowl off of a bogus news story. In November I said it would be Broncos over Panthers. Around the time the playoffs were getting underway, I said it's going to be Broncos over Panthers, Von Miller's going to be the MVP, and there'll be a Black Panther tribute. I got all those things correct. Von Miller also wears number 58. He was one pick after Cam Newton in the same draft. Then this year you have Colin Kaepernick, who they're using to create this narrative by the numbers, who was from that same draft class, who was given to the 49ers through the Denver Broncos. I have a video on that as well. Anyway, Colin Kaepernick, all of this stuff fits in by this same numerical code. Your professional sports leagues and your news, the commonality is it's actors selling you out, being paid money to lie and deceive to you. Freemasons running pro sports. The sports leagues are rigged by the numbers. Every day, your news is contrived by the numbers, and the actors, the news anchors, the sellouts who go to the scene who know these stories are made up, they get on TV and tell you about the tragedies or whatever. They're all part of this Masonic network. You really think Huey P. Newton equaling 58 and Cam Newton being the 58th quarterback to start in a Super Bowl with the Black Panther on the side of his helmet's a coincidence? We're living out a long-planned script. This news story that CNN put up this morning, it was a minute 19. All-seeing eye equals 119. Star of David 119. Master plan 119. Notice the eye symbolism on the side of this building. And if you go to the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland, there's a lot of street art. Very colorful city. A lot of paintings like that, but I don't think it's any coincidence they're putting that in the shot right here, especially with this minute 19 news story they gave us to start the day, starting at 7:58 a.m. So here's what's important right here. You see how it says the blaze happened at the address 1305 31st Avenue around 11:32 p.m.? The NBA playoffs begin 135 days from this fire. 135. And the Golden State Warriors are originally from Philadelphia. Philadelphia was established in history on a date with 135 numerology, which we'll get to. In Revelation, the final book of the Bible, that's where Philadelphia gets its name from. Revelation 3:7 talks about the Church of Philadelphia and the Key of David. The Key of David has to do with bringing about prophecy, things that are planned. The Key of David equals 135. Philadelphia established on a date with 135 numerology. This building fire at 1305. And also, last night, there was a game in Chicago which had the Great Chicago Fire. Great Chicago Fire, 135. The word basketball in gematria sums to 31. You might recall that last year the Warriors came back from 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals. Then the Cavs came back from 3-1 in the championship. LeBron was age 31. Basketball equals 31. You might recall that Villanova, who plays just outside of Philadelphia, won the basketball championship for their second time. The last time they had won was 31 years earlier, 1985. Basketball equals 85 the big way, 31 the small way. This time, 11:32. In military time, that's 23:32. 2332. If you add that together, 23 plus 32, it sums to 55. So does the word burn, so does the word December, so does the word Santa, so does the word Satan. The Freemasons in high places who run the media, who run government, who control police, who control the fire departments, the ones in high places, they're all part of this satanic order. That's what they refer to themselves as, the synagogue of Satan. And that is who is responsible for this fire, which we'll talk more on. So 135 days to the playoffs, 135 had to do with Great Chicago Fire, Cavs playing at Chicago the night this fire broke out. They said the fire happened at about 11:30. Most news sources say about 11:30. CNN was more specific with 11:32. That 113 sequence is what's important. Often coded into mainstream propaganda, contrived Freemason rituals by the numbers. Mainstream equals 113, dishonest 113. Supposedly the party last night was called Golden Donna's 100% Silk West Coast Tour. That's what the party was called, which equals 113. This is supposedly who was in attendance that died. The word Scottish equals 113, as in Scottish Rite Freemasonry. The founders of this nation were Scottish Rite Freemasons. The first recognized president, George Washington, a Scottish Rite Freemason, a master 33rd degree Mason. They also love to riddle 33 into these stories. False flag equals 33, Masonry 33, secrecy 33, federal 33, order 33. They say 9 dead and about 24 missing. 9 dead, 24 missing, that's 33 people. With regards to this being on 31st Street, the word arson also has gematria of 31. Basketball fire on 31. I'll show you how the tweet that every news report used coded 31 in it. I should mention that the name Curry equals 31 the small way, 85 the big way, just like the word basketball. His father played in the NBA, Del Curry. Again, the military time of that fire, it was 11:32 or 23:32. When you add 23 plus 32, it sums to 55, like the word burn. It's also in the month of December, December 55. Satan 55, a reshuffling of the letters of Santa, Santa Claus month. Santa Claus in satanic gematria sums to 666. How perfect is that? That's where you use the alphabetic order for each letter and then multiply times 6. I also want to comment that with this regular time, 11:32, 11 plus 32 equals 43. The word massacre equals 43. So does the word champion. Can almost guarantee you the Golden State Warriors will be the Western Conference champions. Not sure about NBA champions. If they are NBA champions, it'll have a lot to do with Kevin Durant, no doubt. In a moment, we'll talk about Kevin Durant. Here was one of the tweets sent out from the Oakland firefighters. They sent it out at 12:31. Notice they were sure to get the 31 in there. There's another one here, though. Oakland firefighters 31st, and they tweeted this out 12:07. Why is 12:07 interesting? That's a lot like 127, which is the 31st prime number. Basketball 31, arson 31. Freemasons doing things by the numbers. Freemasons controlling your government, your media, your city police, your city fire. This is what it is. Look at what the Warriors, this is the Warriors' last basketball game. The Warriors' last game, they lost. They fell to 16-3. I'll show you what that record has to do with fire. And look, they lost with 127 points, the 31st prime. What are the odds? Their last game, they lose with 127. Tweets now, days later, in Oakland, coding the number in. The date of this game was a date with 49 numerology. This game was played December 1st, 12/1, 2016. I want you to notice that in Warriors in Gematria sums to 121 and 49, just like Revelation does. The name Philadelphia comes from the book of Revelation. The Warriors originally from Revelation. The Warriors won the first NBA, or it wasn't the NBA then, it was the BBA that season. The Philadelphia Warriors won the first BBA championship over the Chicago Stags, where the Chicago Fire happened. And last year, the Warriors eclipsed the Chicago Bulls win record season. Recall? So Golden State, Chicago. The date of this loss to the Houston Rockets, date with fitting numbers for the Warriors. And if you've never read the book of prophecy, the book of if you've never read Revelation, the final book of the Bible, the book of prophecy and destruction, it has a lot of fire symbolism in it. From the start of the NBA season, October 25th, to the fire is 38 days. Fire equals 38, death 38, killing 38. The Warriors are currently 16-3. That's a lot like 163. 163 is the 38th prime. That's their record at the time of this fire. The NBA season this year, it began on October 25th, 2016. That was the same day that was Game 1 of the World Series between Chicago and Cleveland. Last night, the night of this fire, Chicago and Cleveland played each other in Chicago. Notice it was the 71st season. 71st season. We're going to talk about why that's significant. The Chicago fire was in 1871. From the fire to the end of the playoffs, or the end of the regular season, I'm just documenting this. The NBA season ends April 12th this year, 2017. That's the 102nd day of the year. And from the fire to Steph Curry's birthday is 102 days. His birthday is Pi Day, March 14th. Anyway, from this fire to the end of the regular season, 131 days. When you write out championship, it equals 131. When you write out Super Bowl, it equals 131. When you write out 57, it equals 131. World Series equals 57. In other words, all these numbers related to championships. Last year, Peyton Manning, ESPN had a story up all year. On their front page, it was a minute 31 long, 131. 57 children from Indiana named after him. So that's until the end of the regular season. Until the start of the playoffs is a span of 135 days. Building fire at 1305. Philadelphia, where the Warriors are originally from, established October 27th, 1682. 10 plus 27 is 37. Plus 16 is 53. Plus 82 is 135. I meant to do that math right here on the screen. I forgot it. But that's 135 numerology. Revelation 3:7, and to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that it openeth, and no man shutteth, and no man openeth. The key of David, 135. 135. And by the way, God doesn't write Bibles, men do. They say Francis Bacon, whoever that person is, the network of people, that's who wrote the King James Bible, which we're reading from right here. Last year, LeBron James won the NBA Finals on the real King James's birthday by the numbers, as I said he would. But anyway, Philly, the home of the Warriors, 135, the number for the key of David, for the date Philadelphia is established. And from the fire incident to the start of the playoffs. Think about the NBA and he's on fire. You know, that's what they say when somebody's shooting really well. How many times have people said that about Steph Curry? So last night, the night of the fire, Cleveland Cavaliers played in Chicago. Notice the score was 105 to 111. The NBA playoffs begin on April 15th, which is the 105th day of the year. Masonry equals 105. Zionism 105. That's 135 days from the fire. Notice this game summed to 216 points. Cleveland is the 216 area code. Last year, the last game in the NBA Finals in Cleveland was Game 6. The game summed to 216 points like the Cleveland area code. 216 is a backhanded way of getting to 666. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. Revelation makes the number 666 infamous. It's where that number comes from, the number of the beast. Revelation 13:18. So anyway, last night, Cleveland in Chicago. Game 1 of the World Series was Cleveland, Chicago in Cleveland. That same day, though, there was a fire at O'Hare Airport on the runway. And I did a video showing that it was a tribute to the Chicago fire. Said why the Cubs would win in Game 7, as they did. So again, this NBA season, it's going to be the 71st. It's going to end in the year 2017. 17, the reflection is 71. NBA equals 17. 71, the year of the Chicago Fire. The date the NBA season began this year, October 25th, 2016, it was a date with 71 numerology. And the Cubs, the Chicago Cubs, were in the World Series for the first time in 71 years. They hadn't been there since 1945. And as a reminder, Cubs equals 45, Wrigley 45, Illinois 45, Major League 45. Major League the big way equals 108, like the number of years drought for the Cubs. 108 double stitches on a baseball, meaning 216 individual stitches. The Cubs beat the team from the 216 Cleveland. So look at the gematria of Great Chicago Fire. 135. You know, how perfect. A tribute fire in Oakland. Cavs playing against Chicago. 135 days till the playoffs. Notice the Great Chicago Fire. It started October 8th, 10/8. Golden State Warriors equals 108. Game 1 of the NBA Finals, the 2014-15 season, the year the Warriors won. The Warriors won Game 1, 108-100. That game went to overtime, 98-98, exactly 98 days after the last time the Warriors and Cavs had played each other in the regular season. And I predicted after that game that the NBA Finals would be Warriors and Cavs because there was a riddle in the scoring of the game and LeBron James's box score. And I said, there's your NBA Finals this year. A lot of people doubted the pick. You know, it's funny, a lot of people that year thought it was going to be Chicago. People were saying, no, Zach, this is Chicago's year that year. I said, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you're going to see Cavs Warriors. And last year, I said the same thing at the beginning of the season. I said it'll be a repeat. And this year at the beginning of the season, before it began, I said right now I'm torn. It's either going to be Warriors versus Cavs again or Warriors versus Bulls. So isn't it funny? Here's that triangular relationship. This just goes with all the other riddles I've been seeing. The hoax shooting of Dwayne Wade's sister in Chicago right after he signed. It's what it is. Fake news. Coded numbers. For another kicker, look at the Cavs' record right now. This is at the time of the fire, after the loss. They're 13-5. 13-5. Like 135. 13-5, 135 days from the start of the playoffs. The number goes back to Philadelphia, the team that won the first basketball championship in this country. That was in the year 1947. Philadelphia Warriors over Chicago Stags. And again, Warriors 16-3 right now, league best record. 163, the 38th prime, like fire. The word gold also equals 38. They're the Golden State Warriors. The 49ers, named after the Gold Rush, just hosted the past Super Bowl on the 38th day of the year, February 7th. It was won by the team from the 38th state, Colorado, another gold and mining state. The team that was defeated, the Panthers, have named gematria 38, plus so much more. From the date of the NBA Finals that passed, Game 7, June 19th, the real King James's birthday, to the fire was 167 days. That's the 39th prime number. Revelation, the book of prophecy and destruction, where Philadelphia gets its name from, is based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. LeBron James and Steph Curry were born in the same Akron, Ohio hospital 39 months apart. 39, that number important to the Jewish people, the Zionist Jews controlling your media, your NBA, your government. Here's the reporting from the Mercury News, more local. They point out it's the 1300 block of 31st Avenue at about 113. It's a lot of ones and threes, isn't it? Again, it was Golden Donna's. Golden State Warriors. Golden Donna's 100% Silk West Coast Tour. The word massacre also has gematria 25, reporting that number. Again, 113 like mainstream, like dishonest, like Scottish. If you take the word tour off the party, it has gematria of 93, like Oracle Arena where the Warriors play. The final score of Game 7 last year, the NBA Finals, was 93 to 89. King James equals 89. It was the real King James's birthday, LeBron James, King James. With regards to this being the 71st season of the NBA, the Warriors have been in Golden State since 71. How about it? You know, Chicago Fire, 1871. Riddles by the numbers, repeating history by the numbers. Talked about the significance of 55. Durant was the big acquisition for the Warriors this year. The year he won MVP, this commercial came out. Can't remember what it was for, AT&T or something. So much 55 symbolism in the commercial. The MVP award began in the year 55. Remember, the word Satan equals 55. Satanism is self-worship. Think about the MVP award. The focus on the self instead of the team. Synagogue of Satan, the false Jews, named from Revelation. Running the NBA by the numbers. Didn't see my video on why Kevin Durant was the big news on July 4th going to the Warriors. Better go back and check that out. All by the numbers. So the police officer they had reporting, I had to laugh about his name. So often they give us these characters in the media, these police officers in costume, these firemen in costume. Sergeant Paul Graves. What a fitting name. And you know, some people really do have these names that are ironic. I once had to take my girlfriend's cat into an emergency vet in the middle of the night, and the doctor's name was Dr. Coffin. I couldn't believe it. Dr. Coffin's suggestion was that we just put the cat down. Anyway, they had Sergeant Paul Graves out there, which probably is not a coincidence. I want to show you what's up with the name Paul Graves. It sums to 122, like Golden State, like a December 2nd fire, like Oakland being on the 122nd meridian. Paul Graves, 41. Golden State, 41. 122. You see how it's the same numbers? 41's a special number too. It's the 13th prime number. This happened on the 1300 block of 31st Street. Remember the way the NBA regular season ended last year? Ended with Kobe retiring his final game. It ended with the Warriors eclipsing the Bulls record. Real quick, let me see how many of these details I can get back in here as a reminder of just how scripted the end of last NBA season was involving this number here, 41. When you write out 14 as a word, it sums to 41. The name Kobe Bryant equals 41. Kobe Bryant's father, Joe Jellybean Bryant, was drafted 14th overall 41 years earlier before Kobe retired by the Golden State Warriors. And remember, the Golden State Warriors are originally from Philadelphia, where Kobe's from. Kobe played his high school ball in Philadelphia. So, Kobe Bryant last year scored 60 points. And it was exactly 213 days after Moses Malone died at age 60. Moses Malone was the first NBA basketball player drafted out of high school by the Utah Stars. Kobe finished his career last year against Utah. And Moses Malone died last year just before the NBA season began, 213 days before Kobe scored 60 points. Moses Malone dropped dead out of nowhere, surprising the people around him at age 60, 213 days before Kobe scored 60 to close out his career in LA, home of the 213 area code. And all throughout history, young black men have died by the number 213. Basketball players such as Len Bias, rappers such as Tupac Shakur, and many more. Anyway, Kobe's career finish of 60 points was scripted by the numbers as a tribute in part to the death of Moses Malone. His retirement was also synced up with the retirement of Michael Jordan, who retired against Philadelphia, where Kobe's from. Here's what it was. From the day Michael Jordan retired against Philadelphia to the day Kobe Bryant retired, I just got to show you this right here on the screen. I got to give you a lesson. If I explain this, it might just be too much. So you got to see this visually, because this is the absolute truth of what's going on and how scripted all this is. I'm going to show you this right here. This website doesn't do Pythagorean gematria. If it did, you would see that Kobe Bryant also sums to 41. Kobe Bryant in Pythagorean gematria sums to 41. When you write out 14, it sums to 41. His father was the 14th overall pick by the Golden State Warriors 41 years before his son Kobe Bryant retired. And again, Golden State is 41. He was drafted 14th overall by Golden State 41 years earlier. So anyway, look at this. Kobe Bryant, when you write it out, sums to 113, just like Dear Basketball, his poem, just like Utah Jazz, the only team in the league that sums to 113, also just like Michael Jordan. A lot of parallels between Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. And what I want you to notice is how both of their names sum to 113 and 678. What this method in the middle is English gematria. You just multiply the bottom value times 6. Kobe Bryant retired exactly 678 weeks to the day after Michael Jordan, who retired against Philadelphia. Again, Kobe's from Philadelphia. The same day Kobe Bryant retired, the Golden State Warriors finished their season eclipsing Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls' win record. And Klay Thompson and Steph Curry combined for a record 678 three-pointers made in a season. That had never happened before by two players on the same team. That's a lot of three-pointers. 82-game season, 678 three-pointers made between the two of them. You know, that's something like 7 whatever three-pointers a game. A lot. But look at how perfect it is. You know, the retirement, 678 weeks apart. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Philadelphia. And then there's the Golden State Warriors angle. Originally from Philadelphia, the team that eclipsed the Chicago Bulls win record. And it goes back to the beginning of the NBA, where the first championship team was out of Philadelphia, the original nation's capital. So I hope I explained that all clearly enough. I'm just trying to get you to see how deep this scripting is, how many other riddles there are, and I'm still not even telling you it all. There's just so many other things. Moses Malone's death was synced up with Daryl Dawkins' death, the last two men to play for the Philadelphia team that won the championship, which was 33 years before last season, 33, number of Freemasonry and sacrifice. There's a lot of rituals going on, from burning buildings to murdering men to having people fake their deaths. This Freemasonic network is insane. They're doing all of this by the numbers. Again, can't emphasize enough. They're scripting the sports. They're scripting the news that I'm showing you now. Watch my video on the death of Michael Jordan's father. Ritual by the numbers. It even makes me wonder if it was really his father. His father was a midget. I asked myself how such a short man could have a son as tall as Michael Jordan. But, you know, sometimes stranger things have happened. The point is, I have a lot of videos and a lot of information to share, plus way more. Called The Death of Prince and Muhammad Ali. Before they happened, said Muhammad Ali would die at age 74. So here was that headline we were looking at. We are preparing for the worst. They've kept this one up for a while now. Posted this earlier today. We are preparing for the worst has gematria of 323. And that number is important to Lucifer in gematria. Lucifer, the story of Lucifer involves fire, Lucifer, hell, brimstone. Freemasonic, satanic network governing over us by the numbers. I just did a video last night, and I'm about to do a second video because I found out more about what's wrong with the fire reporting in Tennessee. If you missed that video real quick, they said that a burnt Bible page was recovered from Dollywood, Dolly Parton's ranch up in the resort town that burned Gatlinburg. This is supposedly the Bible page that lasted. What you can make out the best out of all these verses is Joel 1:19. That's what this is, Joel 1:19. Lord, to thee will I cry, for the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flames hath burned all the trees of the field. I have a longer video on this, which I'll link in the description, but this is from the King James Bible. King James Bible 119, like All-Seeing Eye, like Star of David, like Master Plan, just like how the first video CNN put out was 1:19 long, starting at the 58th minute, you know? What I didn't know when I made the video yesterday, and I should have looked at this up, I should have looked up what the deal was with Dolly Parton. Look at Dolly Parton's birthday, January 19th, 119. On Dollywood, they find this verse about the fire. They presented it if it's a miracle. I'm going to do a bigger video on this. Dolly Parton was singing Jolene on The Voice the day they found this page from the book of Joel. Joel. Oh, truth seeker, we are being punked all over the place. This fire began in Tennessee on November 23rd, the day that leaves 38 days left in the year. Fire 38, just like how it's coded into this building structure. My readers found a lot of other things, including Billy Joel and his song and how it ties in. I'm going to do a longer video on this. There's a whole lot more to it, but that's just a little peek. Again, here's the Chicago Fire. It began October 8th, 10-8. Golden State Warriors equals 108. Game 1, 2 years ago, NBA Finals. 108 points, won by the Warriors in the first game. It's over equals 108. Remember how the Bucks printed out the shirts to break the streak of the Warriors before they did it? It's over equals 108, the headline everyone had. In spring training, I said how I thought that riddle paralleled what was going on with the Chicago Cubs. You can go back and watch my spring training video why the Cubs were going to win the World Series. I even talked about how 108 was real big in the NBA season with the Warriors, breaking a streak at 108. Cubs, 108-year drought. Major League, 108. Isn't it all coming full circle? You know, the Cubs have won the World Series now. Now we're talking about, you know, a fire in Oakland. Tribute, you get it, man. It's just, these people are crazy. These people are crazy, not me. Look at this show, Chicago Fire. Came out on October 10th. What day in history did the Chicago Fire end? It ended October 10th. What a bunch of assholes. They come out with a show called Chicago Fire on the real anniversary date of the Chicago Fire. Look, I'll just show you a few more. Utah Jazz, who Kobe Bryant finished his career against. And one time, Michael Jordan retired against the Utah Jazz, too. 113, no other team in the NBA. His poem was Dear Basketball. Remember that? Kobe Bryant says he's going to retire with poem Dear Basketball. The truth is, the Zionist Jews who own him, who pay him all his money, who, you know, exploit his athleticism, duping fans, they just treat him like a puppet. They write the whole narrative. He just goes out and acts and goes along with it. That's how he gets to be a celebrity, a millionaire, famous. People in this world willing to be sellout puppets by the numbers, from professional sports to politicians to news anchors. The entire world of celebrity, musicians. These musicians aren't singing their own songs. They're singing the songs these Zionist Jews write for them. Why do you think you turn on the radio and everyone's singing about the same thing like it's a theme? I mean, everywhere it's just programming. We're programmed through all the media this gang controls. So if you're in Oakland, I hope you spread this knowledge. If you're anywhere in this world, I hope you spread this knowledge, because it's going to be more and more cities that the same things happen. Ongoing rituals by the numbers, by the Freemasonic psychopaths at the top. The next video is going to be on Dollywood. Till next time, True Seekers.